I fundamentally disagree with the assessment that folks are making. We may be blind to a couple of things, however, we're not stupid. We can actually count. Math don't lie. So parties saying they have a trade surplus over X amount of Earth years, and some say they have a trade deficit over X amount of years. You can track those numbers, and they show up in the quote-unquote economies of those who are on the receiving end, those who have the trade surplus. You can track numbers. And if you're saying you have a surplus, certain things become evident. And when you don't see those things, they're telling you to your face with the numbers, there is manipulation going on. And a lot of it. Not just happening with trade surplus and trade deficits. You have a lot of manipulation going on in the organized gambling pits called quote-unquote markets. You see it in silver, gold. You see it in diamonds. You see it in copper. With the diamonds, we saw how that happened. The price of diamonds has been dramatically depressed over the Earth years recently. And this is because of one particular despot who pays in diamonds for protection from mercenaries. And those mercenaries, they have fled the market with the diamonds they've been paid with. For several Earth years running, pardon, this has been the case. And now, we saw recently, there was a spike in the quote-unquote copper price. And then copper became sane in terms of quote-unquote pricing again. And now, it's spiking heavily. We know why it spiked previously. When you have a blockade and you have parties saying that they're going to require tolls be paid over international waters. If you want to sail out of the Persian Gulf, you got to pay Tehran. And you have those that put a blockade on their blockade saying, no. We don't take sides with either side of them. Either party. What I do know is, with the closing of traffic going in and out of the Gulf, not because of what Tehran was saying, but because they couldn't get insurance to sail. Well, all that bauxite, all that alumina, all that oil, all that nat gas, and other things, sulfur and things that come out of the Persian Gulf have not been getting out. And parties who have stockpiled supplies are seeing their supplies dwindle. And they're just about out. So price spikes on anything that has plastic in it, or it's coming. And copper uses particular things that come out of the Persian Gulf area in the mining and in the processing of the copper. And since those supplies can't get out, the price is spiking. Yet, there's an ironic twist here. The second spike of the quote-unquote copper price is not matching the oil price. The blockade on the blockade, if you would. The Westerners that put a blockade on the blockade by Tehran is so successful that it's driven the quote-unquote oil price down. If the oil price is coming down, why aren't the prices for everything else coming down? Well, some oil is getting out through other means. Pipelines that have basically bypassed the Straits of Hormuz. No such option is available for the alumina, the bauxite, the nat gas, and oil from Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwaiti, Sumer, and from Riyadh gets it out by the Cushite Sea, and UAE gets their oil out through the Gulf of Oman. So these things are causing folks to see their stockpiles unable to be reset. As I said, it'll take about 4 months to get things normal if they ever unclog the traffic going in and out of the Persian Gulf. Now, we can see clearly where things are going and why. The inputs and the throughputs, on so many things, from fertilizer to the petrochemicals used to make various grades and types of plastics, they are definitely playing a role. You got deflation from some being exported, and inflation being exported and imported by many. Careless capitalism has consequences. You have overcapacity of supply and various things across this planet, and not enough demand. So if you've got burgeoning populations, or if you have stable or somewhat stable populations, and there's low consumption inside of your populations, then you're required to export to make up the shortfall. And parties are now becoming more and more defensive. So they are putting in trade restrictions and tariffs and other means to block or impede or slow down importing of products that basically compete with their own local products. So if parties can't find external to themselves demand and all that overcapacity, all that oversupply, that means folks that do trade for them are being laid off, furloughed, fired. Over time, that's going to lead to desperation and unrest. Because that's how it works when parties are operating a quote-unquote capitalist system that happens to be not collaborative, rather it is careless. Collaborative capitalism has the ability to endure, where the opposite is true for careless capitalism. Eventually, you run out of space to run and things come to a tragic end. Not tragic for capitalism per se, tragic for those who are caught up in the nebulous of careless capitalism. If you're caught in that orbit, it is what it is and can't be what it's not. Well, anyway, the way we proceed is to avoid the crazy. Collaborative capitalism, and not everything within the Amexem-Moor-Empire is monetized. And this is how we win.